India, to attempt to do it is a huge task, but extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. My own sense was this was a much better speech than the first one. Free of any grandstanding, spreading an element of fear, which I think is necessary. The Prime Minister has made it very clear, you don't do this, things could get much, much worse. So spreading a necessary element of fear, it could lead to panic in some quarters, but I think in a sense, it was good that we had that one-day Janta curfew. It's prepared people for possibly a longer period. Most states, Rahul, are already under curfew. So in a sense, what the Prime Minister is saying from midnight tonight has already been implemented in a large number of states, barring one or two. Now it's spread across the country. You've got an element of fear. At the same time, the hope that if you get it right in 21 days, things could get better. Jaan hai to jahan hai was the one-liner in Corona. Koi road pe na aaye. So you had the Prime Minister with his one-liners, but I thought he was emphatic. He spread the right message of fear in people, and I do hope that this time, because it's come from the chief executive of the country, people abide by it completely.
The big question in everyone's mind at this moment is where will they get their essential supplies from? Because earlier everyone said don't stock up, there's no need, there will be no lockdown. Now you're dealing with a lockdown. Many people didn't go out, buy those supplies. They're now concerned. Mother Dairy is running out of milk, the local Kirana stores running out of supplies. I want to get some reactions. K. Sujata Rao joins us, former Health Secretary Vikram Singh joins us. He's been Uttar Pradesh's DGP. Ambrish Mittal joins us, Chairman and Head of Endocrinology at Max Hospital, and Giridhar Babu heads Epidemiology at the Public Health Foundation of India. I want to go across to the epidemiological expert. First, Giridhar Babu, a complete lockdown. This is what you are calling upon when we've been speaking to you the last several days. Do you believe this is exactly what India needed at this time? Is this what the doctor ordered?
Yes, Rahul. I had said even in my previous interview that this is sort of a precursory measure which is going to set in the tone for the biggest social experiment in the world, and that's actually happening now. And I'm extremely happy in the way the Prime Minister has conveyed this, in terms of explaining the details of why social distancing is necessary, why people should stay at home. Therefore, in terms of mitigation measures, I think we are ahead of any country in this world, number one. Number two, we have also ensured that all the travel restrictions occurred much before other countries could even contemplate it. So the kind of decisions the Prime Minister has shown the world in terms of taking for attacking the virus is phenomenal, and I couldn't have been more happier.
But you know, there is one element, and this is going to be the key also, is that while you are coercive, and there's an element of coercion in a 1 month long curfew, there's a need for compassion. You know, that's a word which is also put in. Number of people, millions of people for the next 1 month will need those essential services, will need basic needs, will need to go to the groceries, will need to ensure that their lives continue to some extent in what can be called normalcy. Sujata Rao, should the Prime Minister have spoken about that, or should we leave that to various ministries to effect for various state governments? Different state governments have announced schemes for daily wage laborers, for example, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Delhi, Kerala. Do you believe that now the challenge is to balance coercion with compassion?
You're spot on. You're really absolutely spot on. That's exactly what was crossing my mind. I think, you know, as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, he said what he had to say. And the policy is as good as it is, but the way it's implemented makes a lot of difference. Now it's up to the implementation that bring in the balance between compassion, human understanding, and enforcing this extremely important initiative that has been taken. This is, as the Prime Minister said, our only best bet that we have now to save ourselves from what would otherwise be a
So how do you do it? Do the state governments, very quickly, do the state governments do that? You know, does each state government do that, ensure this balance is achieved very quickly?
Well, the state governments have to get their, You're absolutely right. The state governments have to get their act together. I'm afraid if it's just going to be hammered in without looking at the essential supplies, like today in Hyderabad, I was not able to get any vegetables, no fruit. It's becoming extremely difficult.
But
and
can
if
I
you say you
also
can't
make the
move
point
out,
that this is
it's
when
going to be
everybody
really
needs to
causing a lot of
realize
problems.
that there will be, Rajdeep, some turbulence. This will not be a smooth ride, and you need to find ways around it. Instead of flooding hospitals, stay back, maybe practice telemedicine. I want to show our viewers, Rajdeep, just for a moment, some of the key excerpts of what the Prime Minister said. We've got some very interesting analytics coming up for you in just a moment. We'll look at the Prime Minister's speech. We'll do a word cloud very quickly. But before that, let me show you what the Prime Minister said. This has never happened in the history of mankind. What we're seeing is truly unprecedented.
साथियों, दुनिया में कोरोना वायरस से संक्रमित व्यक्तियों की संख्या को पहले 1 लाख तक पहुंचने में 67 डेज 67 दिन लग गए थे, यानी 1 लाख तक पहुंचने में 67 दिन। उसके बाद सिर्फ 11 दिन में ही 1 लाख नए लोग संक्रमित हो गए, यानी 2 लाख हो गए। सोचिए, पहले 1 लाख लोग संक्रमित में होने में 67 दिन लगे और फिर इसे 2 लाख लोगों तक पहुंचने में सिर्फ 11 दिन लगे। ये और भी भयावह है कि 2 लाख संक्रमित लोगों से 3 लाख लोगों तक ये बीमारी पहुंचने में सिर्फ 4 दिन लगे। आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि कोरोना वायरस कितनी तेजी से फैलता है, और जब ये फैलना शुरू करता है तो इसे रोकना बहुत मुश्किल होता है। साथियों, एक्सपर्ट का ये भी कहना है कि आज अगर किसी व्यक्ति में कोरोना वायरस पहुंचता है तो उसके शरीर में इसके लक्षण दिखने में कई दिन लग जाते हैं। इस दौरान वो जाने अनजाने हर उस व्यक्ति को संक्रमित कर देता है जो उसके संपर्क में आता है। वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की रिपोर्ट बताती है कि इस महामारी से संक्रमित एक व्यक्ति, सुनिए, एक व्यक्ति सिर्फ हफ्ते 10 दिन में सैकड़ों लोगों तक इस बीमारी को पहुंचा सकता है। यानी ये आग की तरह तेजी से फैलता है। एक बैनर जो मुझे भी पसंद आया, मैं आपको भी ये बहुत कम शब्दों में संदेश दिखाना चाहता हूं। कोरोना यानी कोई रोड पर ना निकलने। कोरोना यानी कोई रोड पर ना निकले। साथियों, आज के फैसले ने, देशव्यापी लॉकडाउन ने आपके घर के दरवाजे पर एक लक्ष्मण रेखा खींच दी है। आपको ये याद रखना है कि घर से बाहर पड़ने वाला आपका सिर्फ एक कदम कोरोना जैसी गंभीर महामारी को आपके घर में ले आ सकता है। आपको ये याद रखना है कि कई बार कोरोना से संक्रमित व्यक्ति शुरुआत में बिल्कुल स्वस्थ लगता है। वो संक्रमित है इसका पता ही नहीं चलता, और इसलिए एहतियात बरतिए अपने घरों में रहिए। मेरी आपसे प्रार्थना है और मैं हाथ जोड़ के प्रार्थना करता हूं कि आप इस समय देश में जहां भी हैं वहीं रहे। अभी के हालात को देखते हुए देश में ये लॉकडाउन 21 दिन का होगा, 3 सप्ताह का होगा। और जब मैंने पिछली बार आपसे बात की थी तब मैंने आपसे कहा था कि मैं आपसे कुछ सप्ताह मांगने के लिए आया हूं। आने वाले 21 दिन हर नागरिक के लिए, हर परिवार के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। हेल्थ एक्सपर्ट्स की माने तो कोरोना वायरस की संक्रमण साइकिल तोड़ने के लिए कम से कम 21 दिन का समय बहुत अहम है। अगर ये 21 दिन नहीं संभले तो देश और आपका परिवार 21 साल पीछे चला जाएगा। अगर ये 21 दिन नहीं संभले तो कई परिवार हमेशा हमेशा के लिए तबाह हो जाएंगे। और मैं ये बात एक प्रधानमंत्री के तौर पर नहीं, आपके परिवार के सदस्य के नाते कह रहा हूं। इसलिए बाहर निकलना क्या होता है ये इन 21 दिनों के लिए भूल जाइए। घर में रहे और एक ही काम करें कि अपने घर में ही रहें।
घर में रहें, घर में रहें, घर में रहें. Prime Minister at his emphatic best. That doesn't apply to us because he said that doctors, media personnel go out so that you're not flooded with fake news on WhatsApp University, and that's very critical. Dr. Vikram Singh, you know, you've been former Director General of Police, and the one concern that everyone has is, okay, so Mr. Prime Minister, we're willing to listen to you, we'll stay at home, but how will my essential supplies come? How will the police in Uttar Pradesh, in Delhi, across the country ensure that people don't run out of essential supplies? Because if that starts happening, there'll be all manner of chaos which will be difficult to control. How do you prevent that? Dr. Vikram Singh.
Rahulji, a very pertinent question. There are sumptuous takeaways from the Prime Ministers, but all these instructions will have to be fine-tuned at the grassroots level. When I say fine-tuned, the Civil Services Department, the district administration, doubled up with the police department, will have to ensure all the essential supplies. And not only that, cater to contingencies like medical emergencies of stroke, heart attack, and other unforeseen circumstance events like the funerals. They have to be catered by the district administration. Civil supplies departments will have their hands full when they supply milk, groceries, food cereals, etc. locality-wise. If you don't do it and have an action plan or a roadmap specific and cater for a backup, then rest assured you will have a problem at hand. And I have seen with myself that a plan that is not doubly sure and is not well calibrated, you see rioting because of food situations.
But is that, if I may, is that a statewide? Do different states now have different rules for this, or will it be common? I spoke a short while ago, Vikram Singh, to the Mumbai Municipal Commissioner. He said very clearly, all essential supplies will carry on. Therefore, if you want milk, if you need to go urgently to the grocery, if you even need to go to the hospital urgently, we will not stop you. So I just want clarification. Is that a Maharashtra order, or will that apply to every Indian state? Is there a common order?
Rajdeep, I would like to remind everybody and all the district officers there's a rule book which has been relegated into the background that is known as the Internal Security Scheme. This internal security scheme caters to all such contingencies and has a solution for all such situations where you have to cater to the supplies, the medical emergencies, and other such things. My strong advice would be to take out this book, wherever it is, read, rehearse, and see to it that it is flawlessly implemented without any exception.
Sujata Rao, you've been a key part of government machinery and administration. How will this get enforced? People will have problems staying home. They'll still manage. If there is food, if there's no food, you know, there'll be all manner of problems. How can they ensure that if somebody needs to go to a hospital today, Raj Naik's sister, media executive, his sister had to go, she's a cancer patient, she couldn't go to hospital. Now that's the kind of thing that spooks people off. Now how do you ensure that those who need to get to hospital because they've got something else apart from corona, they can do so without being stopped by the police and being sent back home, and people get food to eat?
You know, this implementing this order is going to require extremely detailed planning of every contingency at the district level. That means not every district magistrate is going to sit down and plan it. It will be the state governments which will come out with a detailed guideline of what is the exemption list, or for example, somebody wanting to go to the hospital, they will have to have the 108 which runs the emergency services, or accredited vehicles which can take people from their homes to the hospital, so they are cleared. But more importantly, I'm concerned about people who live in one-room tenements, particularly in urban areas. You know, in Bombay, what the situation is. I mean, how can they be cooped up 24/7 inside this one room? There are 6-7 people who live there. I mean, I just, you know, and the toilets are outside. In Rajasthan, people have to walk a mile to get their water supply. So these are going to be local situations, and guidelines will have to be prepared and made available so that the police doesn't begin to take it a very, take these instructions too literally, and bring in that compassion element and human understanding to say what has to be done and enforce. I think if we are 80-90% successful, we have to pat ourselves on the back. We can't expect 100% inside the room for 21 days. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Rahul, I just reconnected with the Mumbai Municipal Commissioner. What he's making it very clear. He says we are very clear. The rules are such that while there is a curfew, it does not stop you from procuring essential services.
But there is no curfew. Curfew jaisa. Prime Minister, that's the point. There's a difference between a lockdown and a curfew. This, remember, is not an official curfew in most parts of the country. In some places there is, but in most parts it's a lockdown.
Right.
The Prime Minister said, even Uddhav Thackeray said curfew jaisa. So curfew jaisa hi mano, because nobody in the Indian
there is
context,
Section 144.
which is the assembly of more than 4 people.
That's
it's not
right.
a curfew.
But even now, what the Prime Minister has said does not stop each state government from ensuring that essential services are made available. I need milk in the morning, I can go, according to the Mumbai
exactly
Municipal
on that
Commissioner.
issue, I've just received information from our sources in the government that at 9 p.m. tonight, Rajiv Gauba, who is our cabinet secretary, the highest ranking government official, he's called a high-level meeting with top officials, director generals of police of all states, also with chief secretaries of various states, to ensure that essential supplies and medical supplies are not disrupted. That will clearly be the government's biggest challenge. If they can ensure that people have stocks, they're still reasonably fine. They'll be troubled, but they'll be able to cope with it. If they start running out of food at home, that will be of major concern.
That's right. But again, I think there is that, hopefully there is an action plan. And what my only worry, Rahul, with this is, you will see differences within states. Some states are far more prepared, others are less so. And I think that is a concern that many have. And we've seen it already. Some states have got their act together, others have not. But the national lockdown now operates to the entire country. And there will be an element of panic buying between even now and midnight. And I think that is the fear, that fear factor that people will be worried about. And that is what really, hopefully, will be addressed sooner rather than later. Dr. Giridhar Babu, your sense was, we haven't gone as yet to Dr. Amrish Mittal. Dr. Mittal, do you believe that from a medical health emergency point of view, this was necessary, but now we're going to have to deal with the social and economic costs of a 21-day national lockdown?
Completely, Rajdeep, and you're very right that you've already discussed, and there's a huge detailed plan to be drawn out at the local level with a lot of sensitivity as well as discipline and strictness. But the medical part itself also deserves attention, because the Prime Minister has given the medical fraternity now. You have a 3-week period in which you can really set your house in order and prepare, because it doesn't mean that the virus is going to completely go away in 3 weeks. It's probably going to emerge at a much lower level if we enforce the lockdown strictly. So we have to make sure that during this period, our testing is ramped up. We have to make sure during this period we educate all our public, as we are trying to do, about the virus. We also need to ensure that the facilities in hospitals are in some condition to take care of the emerging epidemic if it re-emerges. So I think it's very, very important that medical fraternity has, in some sense, got what it asked for.
Okay, I want to show our viewers now a word cloud. We worked when the Prime Minister was speaking to quickly compile for you a word cloud of his speech. This tells us how many times he used which word. So that's coming up on your screen right now. This, of course, the focus, just take it full screen, please. The focus was on Corona, which he spoke of 22 times. He spoke of people 15 times. He spoke of India 13 times. He spoke of the need for people to stay home 12 times. He spoke of people spending time with their family 11 times, infection 11 times, contamination 9 times. Those were the key words. And he used the word lockdown 10 times over. So Corona, lockdown, India, people, that really is the key thrust of what the Prime Minister said in this big address. Remember, this has never happened in the history of mankind. A lockdown for 3 straight weeks. And the best place to be, Rajdeep, to get all the information, all the factual information, no noise. The factual information is just sitting at home and watching India Today. It's the smartest thing you can do.
That's right. There's plenty more ahead. We're going to get you all the updates from across the country. Remember, as we said, the Prime Minister has put the country from midnight tonight, every state and union territory under a 21-day national lockdown. What are the implications of this for the people? We'll be back in a moment. We're continuing with our special coverage. You're watching India Today's special coverage.